What's going on, guys? Your boy Wayne James here, and I'm coming back at you with another crime detective reaction video. Today we got teen killers think she can manipulate the police. Like, comment, subscribe, man. We on the road to 1K subscriber, but we almost hitting 300 subs. Let's roll up that subscribe. Keep spamming up that subscribe. Let's get it on.
I didn't kill my roommate. Me and my roommate didn't have the best relationship.
This is Shantarika Madden in the interrogation room for the suspected murder of her roommate, a young rising basketball star, Tina Stewart. She initially claims she was away from the apartment at the time of the murder, but it wouldn't take long for the detectives to poke holes in her story.
Now, you're at a critical point right now, all right? You're at a fork in the road.
That's what I'm telling you, because it's the truth.
I don't believe you.
As the interrogation progresses, detectives stumble upon a carefully orchestrated killing, covered up with lies, distractions, and one crafty Shantarika right at the center of it.
Before I ask any more questions, would this be life?
There's a good possibility.
Why you ask that
On March
question
2nd,
if it's gonna be
2011,
live?
21-year-old Tina Stewart reported 18-year-old Shantarika for smoking in their off-campus shared apartment near Middle Tennessee State University. As an athlete, a rising basketball player, she feared that even secondhand smoke could jeopardize her drug test results and her future. But as the campus officer walked away, darkness crept in behind the closed doors of the apartment. The evil that lurked in the darkness stabbed Tina, rupturing a major heart artery and puncturing her lung, leading to severe bleeding. The wounds ended Tina's aspirations, along with her life, in a brutally horrifying way.
R.I.P.
Shantarika was the first to reach the scene, so she was brought into the interrogation room to build an initial timeline. This interrogation demonstrates some of the most intriguing interrogation techniques implemented by one of the most seasoned detectives.
That apparently earlier this evening there was some sort of altercation between you and your roommate. And the other guy, is that your boyfriend or is that her boyfriend?
That's her boyfriend.
That's her boyfriend. Now, does he live in the apartment too? Or?
He always there, so I guess you could say.
Yeah, he lives there, you just know him leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So start kind of early this afternoon and tell us what's going on. I think earlier a officer or a courtesy officer came to your apartment because there was a smell of some weed or out in the apartment. Is that right? Okay, now take me right around that time up until now and kind of explain to me how we got to this position.
Okay. When I got there, I don't know what time it was. I have no idea what time anything was. But my friend, she was like, "Can we go to your place?" And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And she was already smoking.
Yeah, who's your friend?
Her name Nene.
Nene?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know about is Nene.
Okay.
And she was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." So I went there to get my keys, and we walked to my place. And I think we had been there like probably a few minutes. And I guess my roommate had called the front desk, and front desk sent the police over. And I talked to him, and he was basically like, if he searched my room and he didn't find anything, then it'll be cleared. And if I told him the truth, so he searched, and he was like, "Well, you told the truth." And he said, "But he's still gonna have to talk to the manager."
Now, was Nene there then, or?
Yeah, we were still there. And after he left, I talked to Tina, which is my roommate. I talked to her. And she kind of shoved me, and I kind of shoved her back. And then next thing I know, we was fighting.
Okay, what did she, back up just a little bit, okay? Now, is Nene still here during this time?
Yeah,
okay. Now, back up just a little bit. The courtesy officer leaves. Okay. Now, how did you get from the courtesy officer leaving to the shoving?
Oh,
What happened?
well, after he left, he just walked me downstairs and talked, and then he left.
Okay.
Basically like that. And he was like,
And then you went back up?
yeah, and I told him, "Thank you," and he said, "Have a good day," and I went downstairs.
Okay. And then when you got back upstairs, what happened?
And then I knocked on her door and told her that I need to talk to her, and we talked. And it kind of got heated because we both kind of had attitude with each other.
Was she in her room?
Yeah.
So you knocked on her door,
I
which is
knocked on her
closed.
door,
Okay.
and my hand was on the doorknob to wait for the other side to twist it because it was locked. So I just.
Reach future fans, A&Rs, and beyond.
Kind of held my hand on the doorknob.
Okay.
And she unlocked it, and I opened it. And we got into this little heated argument about that because she got mad at me for when I called the office on her. And she was like, well, why you didn't tell me this? Why you didn't tell me this? And then she kind of shoved me, and I shoved her back.
What was she talking about?
I had called the office probably like a month ago.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And then when you got back upstairs, what happened?
And then I knocked on her door and told her that I need to talk to her, and we talked.
Bro, I did not meant to do that. I pressed the wrong damn button. Sorry guys that I had to refresh this shit.
And it kind of got heated because we both kind of had attitude.
Yeah.
Oh my
Was she in her room?
Yeah.
So you knock on her door,
I
which she
knocked on her
closed.
door.
Okay.
And my hand was on the doorknob to wait for the other side to twist it because it was locked. So I just kind of held my hand on the doorknob.
Okay.
And she unlocked it, and I opened it. And we got into this little heated argument about that because she got mad at me for when I called the office on her. And she was like, well, why you didn't tell me this? Why you didn't tell me this? And then she kind of shoved me, and I shoved her back.
What was she talking about?
I had called the office probably like a month ago, and I told them that I was tired of seeing her boyfriend every day because he not paying rent, so why is he there? And they basically just told me to talk about it, and we did talk about it. But she kind of still had this heat against me.
Yeah.
And then when we fought, she kind of just slammed my head, so she was pounding my head, and I was pounding her face, and just with my hand.
Okay.
And then she pushed me to the ground. When she had my head, she pushed me to the ground, so I was right on the ground. And I got up. And she was like, get out of my room, get out of my room. So I left. And I went in my room. And my friend, she had already had the door shut. So she was getting her stuff and she was leaving.
This is Nate.
This Nate. Nate left. And
now is, what's her boyfriend's name?
I don't know.
I think I have it somewhere. Well, okay. Was her boyfriend there? Okay, he wasn't there. So it's
I
just...
think she was talking to somebody on the phone when I interrupted her when I knocked on her door.
Okay. So, but it was just you, Nene, and Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Nene, she was getting her stuff and she was leaving. And I was like, well, I just meet you back at the school. And my roommate, she was doing something. I think she was putting on her shoes because I seen her kind of roaming around moving. Because that's normally what she was doing. And she turned down her TV. And she put on her jacket and she walked out the door. And I ain't see no keys, so I didn't think she was going too far. So I was already packing my stuff to go home for spring break.
Mm-hmm. What were you packing in?
A black bag. It probably was sitting outside.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay.
Yeah.
As Shantariga begins to talk, the first incident she describes is her argument with Tina. But how strategically she portrayed herself as a victim is her first attempt to clear her name. She was shorter in height, which suggests that she could be telling the truth. But how much of the story is true is what the detectives would eventually find. Another part of the lie is that she built her alibi around need. Still, when the detectives investigated, they found no evidence of any other individual in the house other than Shantariga and Tina. This is just the beginning. Soon, she'll face questions she would have never expected.
So basically, she's trying to pin on that. She's trying to pin that on her. That is. See, you know you're gonna have to speak up. Like literally,
And
you know you're gonna have to speak up because they're gonna find some DNA that's gonna
and I kind of
come right back to her.
I was walking my cousin, but I walked all around the parking lot.
So she's gonna keep lying and
Trying to
lying.
get out the nerves out of my system. And I didn't shut the door. I just kind of shut it. I didn't lock it. I didn't bring my keys with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called my mom. No, I called my friend first. My friend Carlisha. I called her. And she was like, okay, what happened? How you get to fighting? And I told her that we just got to fight. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. And I told her to come get me. And she hung up. And then I called my mom, but she was like, did you call your mom? And I was like, no, I didn't call her. And so I called my mom. So she went and asked me, did I call her again?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, well, what happened? And I was telling her how we get to fight. And she was like, they need to get you out that apartment and stuff like that. And so I got off the phone with her. But my friend Carlisha called me back. And I told my mom I was going to call her back.
Mm-hmm.
So I went upstairs to my room.
Now, during these phone conversations, you were outside.
I was still outside. And the door was still, it was like, wasn't closed. I kind of shut it.
The front door.
I shut the door, and it wasn't closed.
I
It
thought
was
she
kind of
said
like
she
cracked, so I
shitted.
just
I'm
thought she
like,
came
what?
back.
Mhm.
And so I went in my
Like, you
room,
nasty
and I had clothes in the dryer. So I just put them in the bag because they were still wet, but I still put them in the bag so I could just leave.
Mhm.
And when I went in the kitchen, all the stuff was in my hand. Everything just quiet besides her TV, so I couldn't hear nothing. But when I went back outside, I was going to go to my cousin, but I turned back around and went back upstairs. And I went back in my room because I was trying to fix my bed, and I had orange juice on the floor, so I put the orange juice back in the refrigerator. And through that time, Nene didn't call me or nothing like that, but my roommate car was still outside. So thinking, okay, she ain't going nowhere. And probably like 30 minutes passed, her boyfriend comes through the door, and he was like, I said, she not here. I was like, she was gone. And he was like, she gone. So he turned back around, went to the door, turned back around, and I was going behind him, so we kind of bumped into each other. And he went to the door and he opened it, and he kind of left it cracked. And I was walking to my room, so when it was still cracked, I just kind of looked in, and he was bending down, and he started yelling, and my back was on my shoulder. So I ran to the door, and my mom was like, run, because I was on the phone with her. I had called her back when I got back in the room.
Mhm.
And she was like, leave, run. So I ran out the door, and I dropped my bag on the way there because he was behind me, and he was just yelling full string. And I was running down the stairs, and I turned the corner and ran and hid by the car because he was still yelling. And I didn't hear him say officer, but I think he did say officer.
Mhm.
And I think he was talking to the man that had me sit down on the curb. And they was looking for me, but I didn't want to be seen because he was still yelling. And so I kind of just got up
Did
and
you
ran.
see the officer at this point?
No, I didn't see the officer. And I kind of just ran. And then I heard the officer, this officer, I stopped. And he told me to sit down on the curb and talk it out.
Mhm.
And the boyfriend was still kind of yelling, like, why you do this to her? And I was like, I didn't do that to her. I didn't. And he was like, why you do this to her? I was like, I didn't. I promise I didn't do that to her. Because I was outside the whole time, so I didn't know what happened to her. Because I thought she was gone. And that's it. But before I went outside the first time that I thought she was gone, it was a man sitting outside. And I seen this man before. He got dreads. He black, he got dreads, and he kind of tall. Everybody taller than me. But he got probably like 5'6".
Oh,
And he had
there's a red flag right there in her stories.
Why
is she
he asked for her, and
looking
I was
up in
like,
the
she not here,
like,
but
like
she
roll
going
her
out of
eyes
town
and
basketball.
talking like
I was like, she not here.
that's a
And he
red
was like,
flag.
okay.
When
And
you
the second
talking
time
to
I was
interrogations, when
He
you're
been
talking
there
to two
every time I was
officers,
alone.
you gotta look them
Second
straight
time I
in the
was
eye.
alone, he was like,
She's not really looking at the officer. You could tell. She looked like straight down or something. You could tell.
And
She making
he
this
just
shit up, bro.
rage, like, where's Tina? Where's Tina? I was like, Tina don't live here. Tina don't live here. And he was like, you lying. I was like, Tina don't live here.
Sooner you know
And
it,
he just kind of sort of left.
they're gonna find out some evidence.
This time I went out the door, he was kind of sitting in his car, and I knew who he was because I seen him walk to that car before. I don't know the name, I don't know the color. It's just everything looked dark to me because it was so dark outside. But he was kind of sitting in the car when I left. That's it.
Who is this mysterious man with dreads? She sounds convincing, but the detectives have heard better lies. They already know that Tina and Shantarika had a volatile relationship. Shantarika often quarreled with Tina over her boyfriend, Casey Anuna, visiting. His presence in their shared space made her uncomfortable. Shantarika felt her privacy was violated
She's a worse
when she
lie.
came out
She's
of
a
the
worse
shower,
manipulator.
and Anuna was already present in the room. The dispute was even escalated to management, though Tina frequently missed meditation meetings due to basketball practice. All of this ultimately led to straining their relations even further. It seems to be a motive for Shantarika to murder Tina. Detectives will soon find out the truth. Coming back to the interrogation, what she currently does is exactly what a guilty suspect would do. Introduce a mysterious man, perfectly timed, and vanish after the murder. A perfectly crafted defense. But the detectives will tear apart her manipulative narrative by poking holes.
So what do you think happened to Tina?
I don't know if that man went in that room because I did lock the door, and I might should have locked the door. But I didn't lock the door because I didn't have my key.
That's
But I don't know if he went in that room, but all I know
The
I did not
man.
kill Tina.
the man.
I'm gonna be straight with you, okay? Now, and Detective Mitchell's gonna be straight with you. And I've been doing this for a long time. Okay. See, well, I got it cut out, but see all my gray hair? That's what that's from. Okay. Now, you're at a critical point right now. All right. You're at a fork in the road. Okay. And I want to help you choose the right fork. Something bad happened tonight. Okay. And you got some marks on your face. I've been sitting here looking. It looks like your cheek might be a little bit swollen. You definitely got a scratch coming down your eye here. And I'd say if we checked, you probably got some more scratches. Looks like you might have a little scratch right here on your neck. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think something.
See,
I think something bad happened.
police knows it.
Okay.
They know
Now,
it.
Like I said, I've been doing
You
this
can't
for a long
lie.
time.
You
I
cannot
don't
lie.
think there was some other person. Okay, I think what happened was you and Tina got to an argument, got to a physical fight that got a little out of hand. Okay, now listen to me. Okay, remember I talked about those crossroads. All right, and we want to make sure that you choose the right crossroad because you're not going to have another opportunity. If you go down the wrong, path, then it's going to end bad for you.
Yeah, you cannot lie.
Okay.
Once you get
My work
caught,
is easy because I use Click.
once you get
Here's how I
caught,
keep track of all my
you
tasks.
gotta face
I start
it.
by
You
bringing
gotta
everything
sing like
I
Mariah
need to
Carey.
done,
You
and
just
then I
gotta
dispute. Next.
be truthful on the interrogation
I
room.
don't think there was another person there. All right. I think, like I said, something bad happened while you and Tina were in this fight, in this altercation. And, you know, I would like for you and your family and Tina and her family to have closure and to go ahead and put this behind you and to move on. I mean, I wouldn't want to look back tomorrow or the next day or 10 years or 20 or 30 years from now and have this on my conscience. I just wouldn't. Now, you know, it's the time where
You gotta tell her.
we can get it out, we can get your story out, we can figure out what happened, and we can put a closure to it for you and your family and for Tina and her family. You guys have known each other for a while, may not have been the best of friends, right? But you guys have known each other for a while. And I don't think this is a case where, you plan to do this. I don't think this is a case where you planned, you know, sat in your room and thought, I'm gonna do this and you know, planned it out and did all this stuff. I think it was one of those things, just like you started out to tell us, where you guys got into an argument, got into a physical altercation, and I mean, like I said, you got scratches, it's evident you got into some sort of altercation, and something bad happened. You know, that happens to all of us. You know, bad things happen. Sometimes we let our emotions
Get
the best of us, and then we do stuff that we can't take back. But listen to me, okay? I've been here, I've talked to a lot of people at this table. And trust me, you don't want to go home, you don't want to go lay your head down and live with this for the rest of your life. Wayne, no. You don't want to. You want to get it out right now. You're a good person. And Tina was a good person. And we need to get the truth out right now so we can deal with it instead of waiting down the road and you having to bear the burden of this. It's going to get to you because, like I said, you're a good person. You're not somebody who goes out here and does this all the time. You're not some kind of gangbanger with no conscience. I can tell by talking to you. But you don't want to start out by saying, hey, there's another person that left the room. It just didn't happen. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years. That's a long time. And I'm not here the bad guy that's sitting like you see on TV. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not here trying to hurt you. Believe it or not, down the road you're going to look back and
this other
he was trying
two
to
police officers were doing some shit like that on TV.
Right
Busting up, demand the damn truth. That is lying. That's some bullshit ass lie.
And most importantly, get closer to you and your family.
It wouldn't take a genius to understand that she is lying through her teeth, mentioning that she left the door open. At once, Tina was about to have her basketball trials that would have kept her scholarship secured for the upcoming months. But Shantarika, the troublemaker for Tina, would often smoke in their shared apartment. Tina feared this would cost her
That's why
scholarship,
you can't.
especially
I
with
would
the
never have a
authorities
share
conducting
room, like a
random
share,
drug tests.
dorm rooms.
Frustrated, Tina
sorry.
raised the matter to the management and also sent tweets to show her rage and keep it in public record to secure her future and career. What detectives tried to do was implement a minimization technique on Shantarika, hoping she'd crack. In minimization, interrogators downplay the severity of the crime and offer moral justification for suspects. It increases the chances of a confession. Just when Shantarika thinks she is winning at her manipulative game, the detective changes his strategy to be even more aggressive.
Well, now let's start back from this argument. When the courtesy officer left, and you go in, her door's locked, right? You knock on the door. Now tell me, okay, Tina had, I think what the paramedics were telling us was that she had like a single stab wound in her chest, okay? Now we need to know how she got that.
Being honest.
No, I don't think
I
you are.
promise I'm being honest. I'm not gonna lie to you because I know I didn't kill Tina.
I don't think you
But
did
I
so on
know
purpose.
me and Tina got fighting. And when we fought, I left when she left. I was going to call my mother, but I called my friend first. And I was walking around the parking lot as I was calling everybody.
Let's do this. Let's do a little role playing, okay? Now, let's pretend like you're sitting in a courtroom, okay? And in that courtroom, sitting across from you are 12 people, called a jury. And those 12 people are going to decide your fate, okay? Those 12 people will decide whether or not you ever get out of prison, or whether or not when you get out of prison, you're an old lady.
Starting a fashion brand shouldn't feel
You don't want to
impossible.
see jail on nobody.
Other print-on-demand platforms.
They're going to decide whether or not you have any children. They're going to decide whether or not you get to spend your children's birthday with them at a party, or whether or not you get to spend your kid's birthday looking through a glass. Okay? Now here's where this becomes important. It becomes important because you're going to put this story. This is the story that you're going to put in front of these 12 people. That me and my roommate got into a physical altercation. I went to her room, knocked on the door. We got into a physical altercation to where I had scratches, my cheeks a little swollen, and I left. And within the time frame of about 10 to 15 minutes, some unknown person came into the apartment and stabbed her.
Like literally,
Okay.
how you let an unknown person
Do you
come
like
to the?
those odds? If I'm sitting in your chair, I don't like those odds. Because I can guarantee you that those 12 people are going to do the same thing I'm doing. They're not going to believe it. Those 12 people are going to go, no, it don't happen that way.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
You and your
because
roommate get into this.
It's like a
big fight,
one-on-one fight.
And
Look, I'm sorry for pausing this, but yeah, it's gonna be a one. That don't make any sense. Like if you let's say you have like me and my best friend been hating on me since forever, and you decided to say, you know what, I'm approach this. It's gonna be a one-on-one. So he comes over, like you go. It's either he gonna come to my crib, gonna chill out, play, and then all of a sudden you see him out of nowhere trying to snuck me or some shit, bro. Snuck me. And all of a sudden, we start to scrap and we start to fisticuff. And all of a sudden, say, I hate you so much. I hate you. That means your mindset in that clouded, foggy place where you just wanna hate the whole world. You wanna hate everybody. You wanna eliminate what you see, what's in front of you. So the man did was he's gonna pick up a knife, get it on with the jabbing. Simple. That's how you know. If that's what the case, if that were the case, if somebody would have come to you, if you know, that means you're gonna have that. If you want to have somebody to come to the crib and trying to harm that girl, you would have it from source from a burner phone or something like that. Cause ain't no way that she would have passed away from a stab wound, and you and her was in the room, and that means there's only one thing: vendetta.
And the moment you leave, some unknown person comes in.
She got something that you don't got. Simple.
That don't even happen in movies. But that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm telling you, because it's the truth.
Well, I don't believe you.
So you don't have to, but I know I'm telling the truth.
Well, here's the
I'm
thing.
being honest with you.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
Even after switching from minimization to maximization, Shantarika continues to deny everything. But detectives can note a significant difference in her tone. The pressure has built successfully. If the detective continues this pressure-building tactic, a confession may be just within reach. During investigations, detectives found that some witnesses saw Shantarika carrying a kitchen knife wrapped in a blanket that she disposed of later in a dumpster. But until her role becomes clear in this crime, this evidence just stays as a bagged item for now. The question remains whether the detective would be able to capitalize on the moment, or would she get away with the murder? As the interrogation unfolds, the detectives begin to expose her insensitive side.
Whatever what you do, because I was saying this today, and it's not good. But I'm being honest. From the time I left, from the time I called my mom and my friend and went back to my room, Tina was in her room with me. I didn't think nothing was wrong with Tina. Because when Tina left, Tina seemed fine. I'm the only one that feel like I'm in pain because my eyes hurt me. And I got this stretch, like you know, right there, and my jaw feels full.
Now, you do understand that your roommate is laying over on a cold table at the hospital, right? And you're gonna sit here and complain that your eyes hurting?
Well, my eyes don't hurt all day.
How your eyes hurt?
Me and my roommate might didn't have the best
Who
relationship.
did?
I don't know. But I can give you a description of that male that's been to my apartment more than one time.
I don't think the male had anything to do with it.
I hadn't been there. I hadn't been to my
I
apartment.
don't think the male had anything to do with it.
Yes, he did, sir. I didn't kill her.
When Shantarika realizes that the detectives are closing in on her defense, she makes a desperate attempt to shift the focus to the intruder, a mystery man, nameless, with dreads, who conveniently appears, murders Tina, and then vanishes in the shadows.
Nobody don't want to harm her. I feel
But there
like
was
she's
something
an innocent
even more
person. I feel like
shocking than the
nobody don't
murder
wanna-
of an upcoming star. After the autopsy team revealed the time of death, it was found that minutes after Tina died, text messages were sent from her phone to mislead her boyfriend that she was still alive. The question of who tried to cover up the brutality lingers until the interrogation takes a sharp, unexpected turn.
Okay. Now, after the courtesy officer left and you went to Tina's room, and her door was locked, you knocked on the door, what was the conversation that took place?
I basically asked her, I was like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you just didn't talk to me?
Mhm.
And she was like, well, do you remember the time you went to the office and you didn't talk to me? I was like, yeah, but you still could talk to me. I hadn't been here, so I hadn't been a problem to you. And she was like, well, I don't care.
Mhm.
And I kind of turned off and turned around and was going towards my room, but I think I kind of bumped into her, and that's why she shoved me. And when she shoved me, I kind of shoved her back.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we just started hitting each other.
Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
And after we hit each other, when she hit me and she put me to the floor, I kind of got up and I was going out the door because she said leave. And I was going to my room. And Nene was getting ready to leave. Nene had already had her stuff and she was going out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll see you when I get back to the campus.
Okay.
We're going to campus because I think she said she was going to get something to eat. And I was like, okay, I'm going to see you when we get to the campus because Subway still be open all day. And so Tina, she was.
Now, did you ever go back in there?
Into the tenant room?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went back in my room. And Tina, I heard her rumbling, so I guess she was putting on her clothes and stuff and about to leave. But then she had on her jacket, but she didn't have her keys in her hand. And that's why I assumed she wasn't going too far.
Mhm.
So, because normally when she do that, she don't go too far. She just go visit somebody's room or something like that.
Okay.
And
So you after this argument, physical altercation, now correct me if I get anything wrong, okay? After this physical altercation, you leave her room, go back into your room. Nene gets her stuff together and leaves.
Mhm.
After she leaves, Tina comes out of her room and Tina leaves,
Mhm.
right? And you're still getting your stuff together.
yeah, because I still had clothes in the
You
dryer.
still have clothes in the dryer,
I was
getting
getting
your
my
stuff
bag.
together. Then at some point in time, you leave.
Yeah, I left.
Shall we
and
go
get
back
some-
in Tina's
I guess I'll
room?
do laundry
Okay.
later on.
So Tina's already gone, Nene's already gone. You leave, correct?
Oh my god.
Now, when you go out, you didn't see Tina anywhere.
So I didn't see
Nene's gone.
I didn't see anyone when I left.
You know I'm on
Okay.
live stream, right?
The
So
first
you-
time, well, no, the first time when I left, when I went out the door, only person I did see, I didn't see Tina, I didn't see Nene, was that man.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, well, let's leave the man out of it for right now, okay? So you go outside, you're on the phone, talking to me, sorry. Talking on the phone, you're out there hanging out for a little bit, and then Tina's boyfriend,
He didn't come yet.
all right, he didn't come yet. So then you go back up to the
I
room,
went back to the room, and I
Doors
assumed Tina was
open.
in her room.
door's open.
Her door was closed.
No, I'm talking the front door.
No, it was slight open because I had shit it all the way.
Right,
And
It's
I
cracked.
just kind of pushed it open and I shit it.
okay, so you kind of push it open, and then you go in, you go to Tina's room,
No, I go to my room.
you go to your room.
Yeah, because Tina's room, I assumed that she was, just chilling or gone because her door was closed and her lights was off. All I could hear was her TV because she just turned it down.
Okay, so then, shortly thereafter, her boyfriend comes in,
Yeah, he comes in.
and you're in your room. Okay, so he goes in the,
No, I'm not in my room.
okay, you're,
I'm
you're
sitting in the kitchen because I still had clothes outside.
Yeah.
sitting in the kitchen. He then goes into,
He just come in.
right,
I didn't lock it. I just shit
right, he
it.
just walks in. He then goes into Tina's room.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I stopped and I was like, she not here because when I left, she had left before me. So I was like, she not here because I thought she was dead gone. And he was just kind of like, okay. And he turned back around and I had my bag and he walked like this and we met up like this and he just walked up to her room and opened the door and he kind of left it cracked because I was walking back to my room to make sure I got everything. And I could see him when he bent down and he just started screaming. He was like, why you did this to her? Why you do this to her? And I was like, do what? Do what? And I
Now,
just
where
kind
are
of
you
looked
at
at
this
her.
time?
I'm right there in the doorway because he still had it cracked, so I was just kind of looking.
Were you
He's like-
in the room?
Yeah, I had kind of pushed the door open so I could see what he was talking about.
Right.
And I seen her on the floor, and he was like, you did this to her, you did this to her. I was like, I didn't do nothing to her. And so he started chasing me, and I ran to the door, opened the door, and I
Yeah.
dropped my bag.
Yeah, now did he ever touch you or anything?
No, he was just running, like, he was like, come here, and I just kept
Okay,
running.
he never touched you, okay.
Yo, no
All
worry.
right.
Detective
Sorry guys if you heard that. Watch, we're gonna have a compilation of baby girls passing gas on every time when I do a video. Yo, what the fuck? Sorry guys that you guys have heard that.
have let Shantarika
No!
tell her version of the story. But the story is riddled with obvious holes, like the conveniently unlocked door and the mysterious
Yo!
intruder.
Oh hell no! Fuck no! Fuck no! Fuck no! Fuck no! Wait a that! Yo! So you gotta do that in front of me, bro? Oh my god! That shit is. Oh my gosh! Yo, what the?
But the hardest to believe
No more
is
pizza!
that she returned to the apartment and was still unaware of Tina's death. The detectives can clearly see her real face. They are about to confront her about her lies, the details she conveniently missed.
Uh-oh.
So there's a lot of stigma in
So the other question I've got that's got me puzzled is how that, if you didn't have anything to do with this, if there was some strange guy that may or may not have had anything to do with it, how do you end up with blood on you?
Remember, I was in her room and we were fighting. Unless she had stuff on the wall or blood on her, we were fighting.
How would you get blood on her?
Well, we were fighting, so we might be scratching each other.
Not that amount of blood. You know, you don't have any blood on you coming from you, and you guys were fighting, right? So, you know, I've seen a lot of fights, and most time, you know, people don't bleed just from a little fight. You know, the other thing that I find interesting is that you're right-handed, you got blood right here on the crook of your right hand, right here on the palm.
Well, I use both of my hands to write with.
Mm-hmm.
But when I cut
But you got
stuff,
blood on that hand.
but when I cut stuff, I do both of them.
Right, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about cutting stuff or writing or anything like that. We're talking about you have blood on your right hand. Not on, if I were to hit somebody, I don't have a closed fist. So I might have some blood on my knuckles, something like that. I didn't see any kind of distress, scratches, or anything at all to your knuckle. What I did see is blood on the crook of your hand. So now let's go back. Let's go back to that role playing. Remember? So now, here's what we got. We've got you sitting in a courtroom, right, with your fate hanging in the balance of these people who are going to, based on the information that they have, make a decision on what happens to you, right? So earlier when we had this discussion, we had the fact that you and your roommate got into a heated physical altercation, throwing blows. I think you said she was slamming your head or something like that. And then you leave, and within a frame of about 10 minutes, some mysterious person comes in and stabs her. Okay, that was scenario one, right? And so I told you that that looked pretty bad. If I was on a jury and that was in front of me, I would say, no, that didn't happen. I've been doing this, like I said, for how many years? 15 years. Never once. I've seen some strange things, some really strange things. Not one time I've ever seen anything like that happen. I'm close to it, okay? So now we're going to add into that mix the fact that that you have blood on you that you can't explain. And I'm going to just go out on a limb here. I don't know, because I just took it. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's going to be her blood. Right? Now, the other thing is when I talked to the detective who went over to the hospital and examined her, took photographs and stuff of her, she wasn't bleeding from anywhere else. You know, wasn't like like you said, you guys got into a fight and maybe she got a bloody nose or something, and maybe that's how you got blood on you. It's not the case. She wasn't bleeding from that. And we've already been through the scenario that you never went back in there. Boyfriend never touched you. You never went in to offer help, so we can rule those out as possible explanations as to how you may have got that blood on you. Which brings me back to those crossroads. That's where we're at. We're at those crossroads.
You said in her room?
No, we're at the crossroads of your life, where you've got the right way and you've got the wrong way. Now, so far, you've taken a couple steps down the wrong way. I'm gonna be as honest as I can with you, okay? Because you're 18 years old, and I think you said you had some children, right? No, you don't have any kids? You plan on having kids one day? Like to get married, settle down? Okay. So, you're 18 years old, got a long life ahead of you. And I don't want to see you screw it up right here, right now. So I'm going to be honest with you. Here's the way you're coming across right now. Okay? And Mitchell, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but here's the way you're coming across right now, is that, one, there's not anybody in this world that's going to believe your story. That you and her got to a fight, you left, and some mysterious guy come in, and you just happen to have blood on you. Nobody's going to believe that. So let's throw that out, okay, and go under my theory that you did this. that you and her got into a fight, that got out of control, and that your emotions got the best of you, and that this happened. Bad things happen, okay? The way you're coming across right now is that you could care less about Tina. You could care less what happened to her. All you're out for is yourself. And that's the way you're gonna look. That's the way you're gonna look to a jury. Which means when you get out of jail, you're gonna be old. You will have wasted your entire life sitting behind bars, thinking about what you've done and thinking about how things could have been different.
Okay. Before I ask any more questions, would this be life?
There's a good possibility.
Probably not getting out to you like 30, 40,
No, we're talking about way past 30 to 40.
like 70. 60.
Right.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Artlist's AI voiceover feature allows you to turn your words into voices you never thought you had.
Now, like I said before, I can't make you any promises. I can't make you any promises. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm not going to use any type of coercion or anything against you. We can go back over all these if you want to, okay? But here's what I can tell you is you have to look at the big picture, okay? I know there's a lot going through your mind right now. And you have to look at the big picture. Now you might think, oh, this detective, he's trying to trick me like they do on TV. But just, you're a smart girl. Ask yourself what makes sense, okay? Now here's two situations. Situation number one is you come into court and you say, I didn't do this. I don't know who did it. I don't know what happened, but me and her got into this heated fight. We were banging each other's heads. She was slamming my head against the floor. We were punching each other with our fist in the face. And then I got up and walked out. And seconds later, a mysterious person came into our apartment, stabbed her, left without anybody knowing about it, and I just so happened to have her blood. Okay? Now, if you're sitting on a jury and you hear that story, and you're sitting there worried about, I've got a scratch on my eye, what are you going to think about that person? You don't have to answer it, just in your head. What are you going to think about that person? Now, given those circumstances, if it's your decision to determine how long that person stays in jail, your thought about that person is going to come into play. All right, that's situation number one. Now let's look at situation number two. Situation number two is you come into court and you go, listen, you know, this is what happened. I'm sorry for what happened. You know, I'm sorry for what happened to Tina. And if I could go back and do it over again, I would. I would change it in a heartbeat. But I can't. All I can do is I can tell the family, I can tell her mother and her father that I'm sorry. And here's what happened. We got into an altercation. It started out yelling at one another. Then it went to pushing. She pushed me. I pushed her back. We fell on the floor. She was hitting me. I was hitting her. She's banging my head on the floor. And one thing led to another. And this is what happened. And it was an accident. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. Now, you don't have to answer this question, but in your head, if you're a jury member and you're sitting out there and you hear these two stories, which person are you going to sympathize with? Which? Right. We've all been in that situation. I've been in that situation. I guarantee you Detective Mitchell's been in that situation where things happen that you don't have any control over. And after all is said and done, if you could go back and change it, you would. But Unfortunately, we can't go back in time. We can't go back and change those things. So the only thing we can do is look down the road, and we can make our wrongs right. That's the only thing we can do.
At this point, Shantarika starts to feel the pressure. Her psychological expression hints that she has accepted her fate. However, how much time will she take to confess is the real question. Sensing that Shantarika would choose to stick to her fabricated story, the detective is about to corner her with two options that can decide her fate. What follows next is the most twisted part of the interrogation. The detective will put her in a psychological trap where even the most heartless criminals fail to stick to their stories and flinch. The detective presents Shantarika with two options, both implying guilt, a risky tactic from the Reed technique known as the alternative question, designed to make confession seem like the lesser evil. Shantarika has come to the impression that the detective is on her side, and all he expects is a confession that would save her jail time. But little did she know, she had been strategically cornered. Just when Shantarika thought she could handle the pressure, the detectives threw a bombshell.
Now, I'm going to say this one last time, is that I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I've sat in this room, and I've talked to I don't know how many people. And I've heard I don't know how many stories. Okay? And it makes no difference to me at all. Tonight, I'm going to walk out here, I'll go home just like I always do. I don't have to bear that burden for the rest of my life. I don't have to. But if I did, I would want to know that I made my wrong right. I wouldn't want to be sitting on that hot seat in those two stories and having those people judge me on something that didn't happen. Because it's just going to end bad. Right now, tonight, we need to get everything out on the table, and we need to make our wrongs right. And if that means we have to go to jail for a little while, that's what we have to do. But I'd much rather be able to decide my fate than to put a lie out there and have someone else decide my fate for me. Now, do you want to go back over what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
After he left, I went back upstairs, like I told you. And I knocked on the door, and I said it put a hand on her dog. And when she unlocked it, we just argued right after that. Nene the door was open, so Nene sat in the room and she watched TV. And she texted because she was on the phone. And Tina, when we talked about whatever it was, I turned around and was headed to my room, and I think I kind of bumped into her, and she was like, "Don't bump into me." And she shoved me, and I shoved her back. And she had a knife sitting, I think it was on the bed. Cause I don't know what she was doing. I think she was cutting something. I don't know. But she had a knife sitting in the bed, and when we was fighting, I kept saying that hurt, cause my head started paining real bad because of this eye problem I'm having, and it's been hurting all week. And I grabbed that knife after, cause she still had my head down, she was pounding me on the head, and I grabbed the knife and just kind of went like this. Cause when she was coming towards me, I kind of went like this, and I just held it and let it up, and she fell. And Nene, through this whole process, she had to do her shit, and she still got up and she left. She was like, "I don't know what just happened, but I'm not trying to be in it," and she left. And I came back in my room, I got through with my clothes. I put my clothes in the dryer because I just took them out the washing machine before the police had showed up. And then I just shut her door, and I was like, "Do I need to call the police? Do I need to call the police? Do I need to find a number that the man gave me? I need to call him. I didn't mean for this to happen." And I didn't want to cry, but I called my friend, and I told her to come get me, and I didn't want to tell her the whole story. I just wanted to keep it at a minimum and just wait. If something happened like this, I was just going to come and tell it. And She wanted to move and she was just sitting there. And I just shut her door and turned off her light. And I went outside. I did walk around the parking lot. And I went outside and I called my friend and I called my mom. And I went back upstairs and her boyfriend, he just busted through the door, through the front door, like he just stayed there. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, well, she's not here. And I just told him that so he wouldn't be worried. And so he kind of turned around and he went back, opened the door and turned on her light and the door was cracked and I seen him bend down. And I went back, I was in my room. I was going towards my room when my door was open. And he kind of bent down and rolled her over and he started yelling. And I had my bag on my shoulder, so I was running out the door because he was just yelling at me like he wanted to strangle me or something. And I just ran out because I got scared. And I was in the process of calling, trying to find the campus police number instead of dialing 911. But he just scared me when he did that. And I just ran around the thing. And I bent down behind the car and I still could hear him yelling. But I didn't know if he was saying police or if he was saying he gonna call the police. And I kind of got up when I seen him come past that car that was beside, and I ran forward, and then that's when I heard the police say something. That's when I stopped because I knew it was police.
Okay. Well, that feel better. Get that. You don't want to carry that around with you, do you?
Shantarika finally cracks under pressure, confessing the stabbing to be an accident. All the lies that she mounted in her defense finally fell apart as the detectives built psychological pressure. From minimization to maximization and limiting options, all techniques worked flawlessly, which led to her confess to the crime. But the most shocking part that remained hidden was that Shantarika attempted to clean up the evidence, hiding the murder weapon, the knife, in a garbage bag to conceal her involvement. She was the one who sent misleading texts from Tina's phone to appear if she were still alive, instead of calling 911. These added 4 additional years to her sentence. If Tina had chosen to change her room, would the outcomes have been different? And if management had taken the matter even more seriously, could they have stopped this murder? Shantarika Madden was finally arrested on the night of March 2nd, 2011. She was sentenced to 29 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of Tina Stewart. On July 17, 2012, Judge Don Ash handed down the sentence of 25 years for second-degree murder and an additional 4 years for tampering with evidence, leaving Shantarika with no chance of release. 29 years behind bars.
Damn. GG's. GG's. Hey man, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Comment below which reaction should I do. And we 5 away from hitting 300 subs. Keep on hitting that subscribe button.